Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday. I don't have a quote. I mean, I have lots of quotes. I have tons of quotes, but I'm not going to do a quote today. I'm going to just talk about the role that bystanders can play in conflict. And I was thinking about, I mean, I've been thinking about this for decades, but I was thinking about it this morning, and thinking about the idea of, or what I call cheerleading in conflict. And I used to be a cheerleading coach. I used to be a cheerleader when I was in high school, and then I was a cheerleading coach when I was in university and in law school. Um, and that idea of cheering someone on when they're in conflict. And I think there's different ways that you can do it. The way that I most often see people doing it is that maybe we're in that work situation or a family situation. We have you ever um, bonded with someone over that I don't know, that cousin that y'all love to hate, or that annoying boss, or that mean coworker, or whatever, and you're bonding with your colleagues over not liking them very much. And that's the kind of thing that can increase conflict. It's the kind of thing that gets you to that place of villainization, and that place where it's really difficult to come back from. And I do see a lot of it. And probably everybody's experienced a workplace where maybe there's a conflict between two people, and then these camps get created, where there's he's right, and or I'm her friend, or whatever. And that can make it very difficult for conflicts to get resolved and for people to move forward. Um, so when I think about cheerleading in conflict, what I think about is, someone comes to you and they're upset about something that somebody said or did, and you say, "Yeah, I can't believe they said that to you," or "That's not right. You should do X." And that's not very helpful. That sort of egging people on. I think we do it because we want to be supportive, and we think that's going to be supportive if we tell the person that they're right. But that's not really being a very good friend to them, and it's not being a very good friend to your environment. Um, in the short term, like in the moment, it might seem like you're being helpful and you're listening and you're validating them. In the long term, what you're doing is you're setting them up for more pain and more stress, because conflict creates a lot of stress when you don't manage it in an effective way. And so what I would suggest instead is, when you have the skills to really support someone in conflict, you're asking them questions. You're helping them to identify, what is it about the situation that upset them? What are the needs that weren't being met? For those of you that have been watching my lives for a little while, you'll know that every single action that a person takes, every single thing that we say or do, it's us trying to get our needs met in the best way that we know how. And so when you can help people figure out what their needs are, what those unmet needs are, first of all, I think it's very calming. It's a way of listening that I think people really resonate with. I think people really feel truly listened to when you can start naming their interests, when you can start helping them to identify what are the unmet needs here that is causing this upset or discomfort, or really strong emotion in me, and creating conflict. When you can help people to identify that and name that for them, that's real listening. That's deep listening, and that's something that can be very supportive when you want to be in that role of being a real friend in conflict, whether it's a friend in the workplace, a friend in the family, whatever. So asking questions to help them identify what their needs are, helping them to see when their assumptions are assumptions, right? We can convince ourselves, and other people can help us be convinced that our assumptions are totally right, and we can we can convince ourselves that they're not assumptions at all. And sometimes in the heat of conflict and the heat of the upset or the heat of the emotion, we don't even see it as assumption, right? So another thing that you can do to not be that cheerleader and to be a true help and support and friend in conflict is to help people, in a gentle way. Sometimes they're not ready to hear it right away, but in a gentle way, help them to identify assumptions and help them get to a place where maybe you can pull out their curiosity. So, some of that could look like, so how do you know that that's what he meant to do? What makes you think that that's what he meant to do? And then maybe, over time you can get people to be in a place of saying, what, I really don't know what he meant. And you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I should clarify that or figure that out. And then I think helping them to figure out what are the next steps for them. How do they move forward to get those assumptions clarified or, take next steps. I understand not everybody is going to be in a place where they can accept that kind of help and support. So sometimes you might just need to say, I'm really sorry this happened to you. I can tell you're really upset and I don't like to see you upset. But you don't have to say like, yeah, he's really awful and what a jerk and I can't believe he said that to you. When you start moving into that place, you are exacerbating things. You are now helping that conflict to build. So if you can't be sort of neutral and caring about your friend or your colleague in a way that's, I hear you, I care about you. If you can't be in that place, if you can't be in that place of maybe even more proactive of saying, all right, let's, what are the next steps? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What are the needs that have to be met? How can I support you to move forward to get those things clarified? If they're not ready for that kind of stuff, at least be neutral, right? Don't go to that place of whipping that conflict up into an even worse place, because that's not going to be a help to your friend or colleague or to the environment that you're in. So don't be a cheerleader. I think that's enough for today. I do want to share that if you want to get some more information about what I've talked about a few times in my lives around that villainization piece and how to avoid that, how to avoid assumptions, there's a free training guide on my website at collaborationschool.com, so you can go sign up and get that. Yeah, and if you have some questions, I would love to answer questions. Like I said, I have lots of quotes, but I would rather answer some questions. So if people have some things that they want me to talk about or whatever, you can post them under the videos. You can do that while you're watching too if you want. But if it's something you need to think about and you're watching after I'm finished, please go ahead and post some questions and I would have fun answering them. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching.